Welcome, everyone, to this explainer. Today, we've got a truly fascinating analysis lined up. We're taking a close look at the new Škoda Elroq. But we're not just looking at it as a highly anticipated electric compact SUV. We're actually going to unpack it as a surprisingly sophisticated financial instrument. By the end of our time today, we're going to share some key insights that completely reframe how we calculate the true cost of modern mobility.
So let's dive right in by asking a massive, potentially game-changing question. What if we could reframe buying an EV from a huge initial expense to a lucrative long-term financial investment? What if the vehicle sitting in your driveway right now could literally pay for half of its own purchase price over its lifespan? I know, it sounds a bit too good to be true, right? But as we look at the data today, you're going to see exactly how the math works out.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. First, we'll officially meet the Škoda Elroq. Second, we're conquering range anxiety. Third, we unpack the sticker price fallacy. Fourth, we'll calculate the actual energy and maintenance savings. And finally, we'll bust the battery longevity myth once and for all.
All right, Section 1. Meet the Škoda Elroq, ushering in the modern solid era. Before we get into the heavy financial data, it's vital to know exactly what kind of asset we're dealing with here, starting with its physical utility. The Elroq sits on the Volkswagen Group's MEB platform, bringing in this new, modern, solid design language. Basically, it ditches those complex, overly busy creases for clean, robust lines. At 4.5 meters long, it's perfect for darting around the city, yet it still packs a massive cargo capacity, up to 1,580 liters with the seats down. But honestly, the absolute most important metric is the aggressive entry-level price of roughly 34,500 euros. That achieves total price parity with traditional gas-powered SUVs, completely removing the initial capital barrier that's kept so many people from going electric in the first place.
Moving right along to Section 2, conquering range anxiety and erasing the charging wait. Look, none of that fantastic utility means a thing if the car can't reliably get you where you're going without a huge logistical headache. But here's the kicker. Utilizing up to 175 kilowatts of DC fast charging, you can bump the Elroq's battery from 10% up to 80% in under 28 minutes. Think about that. You plug in, grab a quick lunch, check a few emails, and boom, you're back on the road. The charging downtime is virtually eliminated. Plus, they aren't forcing a one-size-fits-all battery on you. The Elroq's different configurations completely neutralize range anxiety by giving you options based on how you actually drive. The 60 version gets you around 420 kilometers of range, perfect for the daily urban commute. But if you're pulling high mileage, the 85 version packs a larger 77 kilowatt-hour battery that pushes the range up to nearly 600 kilometers. That firmly positions it as a true, no-compromise primary vehicle for your family or a corporate fleet. Which brings us to Section 3. The sticker price fallacy, moving beyond the MSRP. Now that we know it has the physical chops and the range to perform, we really need to shift our perspective from the upfront cost to the true lifecycle value of the car. Because frankly, judging an EV solely by its sticker price is a massive financial trap. To truly understand the Elroq's disruptive power, we have to look at the total cost of ownership, or TCO. This means looking at every single euro spent over the vehicle's entire lifespan, the energy, the maintenance, the insurance, the taxes, the whole shebang. When you stack a traditional gas-guzzling SUV directly against the EV reality over a standard 10-year cycle, the difference in required resources is just staggering. A gas car is going to burn through roughly 10,000 liters of fuel and require constant upkeep of highly complex, heat-generating mechanical parts. The Elroq, on the other hand, it needs about 24,000 kilowatt-hours of electricity, features a vastly simplified drivetrain, and uses regenerative braking, which actually preserves the hardware. All right, Section 4, energy and maintenance savings. Let's look at the 10-year math. When we run the hard numbers over a simulated 10-year, 150,000-kilometer life cycle, the picture becomes incredibly clear. That gas SUV, it's going to cost you about 17,500 euros at the pump over a decade. The Elroq, assuming you charge mostly at home, will run you about 6,000 euros. That is a jaw-dropping 11,500 euros saved on energy alone. Add in the cheaper maintenance, lower taxes, and insurance, and you're looking at a total projected savings of 15,500 euros compared to a traditional vehicle. And hey, if you have solar panels at home, your energy costs could literally drop close to zero. A huge chunk of those savings comes from what actually isn't there. It's brilliant engineering by reduction.
because you're eliminating hundreds of high-friction moving parts, no clutches, no timing belts, no spark plugs, no crazy exhaust systems to rust out. Your maintenance bills get slashed by an estimated 40 to 50%. Plus, because of that regenerative braking we mentioned earlier, your brake pads and discs are going to last significantly longer.
So this completely shatters the sticker price fallacy. Just look at the breakdown. Nearly 3/4 of your financial advantage comes strictly from driving past the gas station. When you combine that energy arbitrage with the maintenance efficiency and the tax perks, these hidden life cycle savings are essentially subsidizing the initial €34,500 purchase price. Mathematically speaking, it is just a far superior asset.
Section 5. The battery longevity myth. Built for the long haul. Now, I know what you're thinking. All these fantastic financial gains mean absolutely nothing if the car's battery dies after a few short years, right? Well, let's look at the actual lifespan. Built on the mature MEB platform, the Elroq has sophisticated thermal management to protect its battery cells. You get an 8-year or 160,000-kilometer warranty, guaranteeing 70% efficiency straight out of the gate. But the real magic happens at the 200,000-kilometer mark. The data shows a modest capacity loss of maybe 10 to 15%, but after that, the degradation curve just plateaus. It stabilizes. This proves the Elroq isn't some disposable tech gadget. It's a highly durable asset engineered to last up to 400,000 kilometers.
And that incredible longevity profoundly protects your investment. Because that degradation curve flattens out and the battery stays highly viable, the Elroq avoids the steep depreciation we used to see in early generation EVs. That ensures that when it's finally time for you to sell it or cycle it out of a fleet, the vehicle still holds substantial, predictable value on the secondary market.
Let's move to our conclusion, the bottom line. Let's pull all of these data points together and look at what this truly means for your driveway or your business over the next decade. There is just an immense gap in running costs here. Operating a traditional gas SUV is projected to drain roughly €25,000 from your wallet over 10 years when you factor in fuel, maintenance, and taxes. The Škoda Elroq, performing the exact same utility, it costs a mere fraction of that, around €9,500 to operate.
By shifting to an electric platform like this, you aren't just buying a car anymore. You're locking in predictable, incredibly low operating costs. I mean, domestic electricity rates are far more stable than global oil markets. This gives you true budgetary resilience, entirely insulating you from those extreme, unpredictable price spikes we all know too well at the pump.
I want to sincerely thank you all for the precious time you dedicated to us today to go through this data. We've seen how the Škoda Elroq breaks down the barriers of entry price, range anxiety, and battery degradation to unlock massive lifecycle value. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to consider. As you look at those €16,000 in hidden operational savings over a decade, can you really afford not to make the switch? Is your next vehicle going to be a depreciating liability or a performing financial asset? Thanks for joining this explainer, and we'll catch you on the next one.